Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to Dr. S.M. Chirisa. This edition, we are having it this evening because of the lockdown, and we are supposed to be live, but we had to decide to carry on and continue with it online. So, the topic that we're going to discuss this evening is very interesting because we're going to be talking about money, and we're going to be talking about understanding money. And the reason why I'm doing that is that most of our pain points in life or for this generation has to do with money. And after all, it is money that makes the world go around. So if you don't understand money, you are going to find life very, very difficult. Is money everything? Definitely not. And a lot of people will say money cannot buy happiness. But so does poverty. Poverty does not also buy happiness. So let's compare apples with apples. And so today we're going to talk about understanding money. And under that heading, we're going to have two sessions this evening. The first session, I'm going to be doing it alone. And the second session, I'm going to do it with my wife, Pastor D, when we talk about managing money as a family. But the first part, we're going to be looking at money facts that you are not taught at school. Money facts that you're not taught at school. Now, what am I talking about here? Now, I grew up, after 18 years of education from primary, secondary, and 5 years of medical school. When I finished that and I went into life and was faced with life, I did not understand money. And I was so shocked that with all, all the years of education that I had gone through, I was never taught about money. And I struggled with money. I struggled how to manage it. I struggled how to get it. I struggled how to grow it. I struggled in how to invest it. Then I realized that you can actually go through school. You can have a degree. You can have a master's. You can have a PhD and still struggle. So today I'm going to be talking about some facts that are not taught at school, yet are very important and pivotal for you to understand and to get your monies right. So let's start. Now, the first thing that I want to say is that money is not free. Money is not free. And I want to say and stress the fact that wealth and success is going to take some hard work. Financial independence, especially if you're coming from an African background, is going to be a fight for your life. You have to understand that it's going to be a fight for your life, and you have to sacrifice a lot of sleep, a lot of time, a lot of leisure to build your ability to get money and to build your earning capacity. Now, it is not glamorous. And there's a saying that I love that I've heard. It's not my saying, but it says that if you do not work hard today, you're not going to get good things tomorrow. And the other saying is that you have to work harder now when other people are not, so that you can get later what other people want. So it's very important. So the first thing that you must understand, that money is not going to come to you for free. You are going to have to work for it. You're going to have to sacrifice for it. You're going to order your life and to bring yourself into a mindset that is able to attract and to get that money. And number two, the other thing that we are not taught is that getting money is going to take time. We are never taught the long-term perspective of earning money. And if you look at all the rich families that we have seen, these are families that have been rich, for years, for generations, because they have got a long perspective to money. And in our lives, we've got a very short perspective. We are expecting to immediately get rich, immediately make a lot of money, or we are expecting some magical thinking. And so if you understand that money, real money, takes time, even the Bible even then says that wealth is gathered is gathered little by little. If you understand that fact that you have to start somewhere, even though your beginning was small, yet your end shall be great. So you need to understand that you must have a long time perspective when it comes to growing money. And a lot of people, especially poor people, they want things quick. They want it now. And what happens, and what we have noticed, is that when people get money quickly, their mind has not yet developed. And what then happens is that they're going to lose that money. They're going to lose and mismanage that opportunity. And we have seen it over and over in this nation. When people get money, which is above the wisdom of their money, and like a leaking bucket, they will diminish the level of money and the level of wealth that has come into their life by windfall, by inheritance, until it reaches the level of their mindset. And that mindset is still a poor mindset. So avoid this magical thinking that you're going to receive a large sum of money, you're going to meet somebody who is going to give you money, you're going to inherit money from someone. We need to start to teach how to plan for money, how to invest for money, and have that time perspective that you can start to order your life and say, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, and you start to put things into effect so that your kids don't have to go through what you went through. And that's we have to start changing our money philosophy, especially as Black Zimbabweans. The other thing that we were never taught is that money, how does money come to you? How does one get money? And I then realized that money, the quantum of money that comes to you, is a function of the measure of the quality of the problems that you are facing or that you are solving. So money follows ideas, money follows solving problems. So as long as you are not solving an important problem, there's nobody who's going to give you a lot of money. So if you want to be wealthy and rich, you have to solve an important problem. You have to solve a problem, and a big problem that is large enough that people will gladly give you their money for the problem that you are solving. And if you look all around, all the problems that are around us, they are a money generating opportunity. So when you look at problems, don't cry about problems, but look and say, how can I turn these problems and make money? Now, when you are working at a job, you are solving a problem for your boss. You are solving a problem for the entrepreneur who started that company. And you are paid the quantum of your salary is in line with the problem that you are solving for that company. So if you are solving a small problem at that company, you're going to be paid small money. And if you are solving a big problem at that company, you're also going to be given a lot of money. So I want you to understand that the quantum of money, or money, is a result of bringing solutions to problems to the human family. So if you are going to make money, you have to look for a problem that you need to solve. Some solve entertainment problems, some solve religious problems, some solve health problems, some solve communication problems, some solve pleasure problems, some solve food problems, and whatever problem you are solving. So you can actually make money as long there's a problem. There's money to be made. I was never taught that at school. School only prepared us to work for somebody. Another thing that I want you to understand, that you are never taught. You are never taught to raise your expectation when it comes to money. We usually, when you're coming through school, the first thing that you're looking for is you're looking for your job. But I want to speak to somebody that we now need to raise our expectation. If we are going to solve problems that are in this nation, it is going to be entrepreneurs. It's going to be people that are going to be giving people solutions and creating companies that are going to employ people. So we must raise our expectation. We must not be afraid to set high bars. I still remember when I was a student and I was explaining to one of my friends that I want to do something high, expressing my high, expectations and high desires. And they came to me and say, "Are you crazy? Are you out of mind? Why don't you just eat your money and zongo pera ipapo?" And the other one, I still remember, he actually said, "Do you want to buy a helicopter? Why are you saving all this money and say you want to invest it in your business?" Because they did not have high expectations. So I'm speaking to you, set your expectations high. Think big. Plan big, especially when you are young. You have to start. You must have those big picture thinking. You must have that big ambition, those hairy, audacious goals. Set them up. Become and say you wanna go rich, you wanna go regional, you wanna go international. Set those expectations high, because if you don't, whatever you expect is what happens to you. Because as a man thinketh, and as a man has, according to your faith, it happens to you. So in the area of money, what you don't expect will not come to you. So you also need to have high expectations. The other thing that I was never taught is that for you to have a money mindset, or for you to increase your wisdom, you need exposure. And the people that give you exposure are people that are at the level that you want, or are above your own level when it comes to money. So what am I saying here? You must surround yourself with what I call moneyed people. You need some people with some dough. You need some people with some money, so that when you're around them, you even if you feel like a small fish, it's okay. But what is happening that by sheer exposure and talking to these people, you are going to heighten your level of awareness in everything, in terms of judgment, in terms of looking at opportunities, in terms of appraising ideas. You're going to dramatically expand your thinking. And sooner or later, you become like the top 5 people that you are hanging around with. And we have heard this over and over again, yet it's so simple, and we are never taught. In fact, we are actually taught to stay in your class. But when it comes to money, you don't stay in your class. You move. If you want to move up classes, then you are going to have to interact with people in the upper class, so that you can get their thinking, you can get their ideas, you can get their management skills. So you need to cultivate relationships with people that are better than you, people that are wealthier than you, people that are more successful than you. And if you don't do that, you are not going to make it, and you're not going to increase in your money. And in fact, most people are actually taught to hate people that have got money, and that process and that thinking actually keeps you poor, keeps you broke, and keeps you under the radar. You are not going to go. And some of the people, if you cannot get them, read their books, attend their events, donate to their charities, introduce yourself to them, add value to them, be around them, see what they do, and that's how you increase these effects that we were never taught at all. A lot of people actually were taught that more money, more problems. Now, listen to this. Whether you've got no money, you've got problems. Whether you've got money, you've got also problems. But the thing is this: the quality and the type of problems, they differ. They differ. When you have got no money, your problems are survival problems. When you've got money, your problems are choices and option. Somebody with money will not go to sleep because he doesn't know whether he wants to buy an ML or a BMW X6. Now, I would rather have that problem than to have problem on whether how I'm going to survive, how I'm going to pay my school fees. So when it comes to problems, you're going to have problems either way. But the quality of your problems will depend on the quantum of money that you have. And I would rather have the problems that money has, where I am short of I have to weigh my options. I think that's a problem that I would rather get, rather than to have a survival problem. So now, it's true, money does not solve everything. But what does? tell me anything that solves all the problems here on earth. But I will tell you that your life is much better when you've got money. Your life better is much better. Your life will be much better. In fact, money will solve 90% of your problems. Most of the problems that you have right now, money can answer and money can solve. It doesn't solve everything, but it definitely solves most of the problems in the human life. Now, one of the other things that we were not taught, we were never taught to be investors. We were never taught to be investors. At the best, we were taught to be savers. But what we do, when I went to school, all those 18 years, I was never taught to invest. My father never sat down with me and told me where to put money, where to grow money. The best that he did for me was to open a POSB bank account for me at that time and said, when you've got money, so when my money would come, I would put it in there. My payout would come at the University of Zimbabwe. I would put it in there and I would spend it until it runs out. I was never taught to invest. Now, if you're going to solve your money issues, you must learn how to invest, because people that are going to have money in the future are people that are investors and not spenders. And whatever you invest today will be more tomorrow. And if you're going to, so we must learn how to become successful investors. We must make the money sweat. This is why we say, you've heard the saying, let your money work for you. So your money works for you in your investments. If you don't invest, you are the one who is going to work for money. Now, I want to be very frank. You don't start with having money to invest. You are going to be the worker. We call that aggressive income. But as you are aggressively getting income, you must put some money away that you're going to put and employ, so that you are not the one who is not employed only, but you and your money are employed. And sooner, when the money becomes more that is employed, you actually become, there'll be no need for you to be employed, because your money will be doing all the work. That's investment, and that's vital. And a lot of people, and the earlier you start, I want to talk to some young guy who's 24, I want to talk to some young guy who's 30, I want to talk to somebody, a young couple. You have to start to invest early. A lot of people, I've seen people, I work for companies and as a medical doctor, and I've seen people coming to their retirement, and you ask them, Mudara, what do you have? And they'll tell you, I don't have anything. They are waiting for the pension to go and build a house, to start a business. You are too late. That person is too late. That person will need welfare. That person will need government assistance. But when you start to invest and to put money away now, start to have an investment portfolio. What I always say is that every year, make sure you have put some money in some investment portfolio, in something, and when you build that, mindset, you're going to increase. You might start with a small money, but what happens is that your mindset is increasing, your knowledge is increasing, your experience is increasing. And when you reach the level when you've got large quantum of money, you now have the experience, you now have the knowledge to maximally use what you are now earning. So start early to invest, but there is no you are not going to solve your money issues without an investment philosophy. And it also gives me to, what I call spending smart. We were just told to spend. And we think that the rich are spending because they are going on holidays, because they are doing this. But you need to understand that the rich are using their profits, to man their lives, or what you see, the quality of life that you see, the big cars, the big houses. They are not using that from their sweat. That is their profit. And when you don't have that, everything you're eating your profit. So you can live the same, you can eat the same, but what are you eating? Are you eating what you're supposed to invest, or you're eating your profit? So I want to live the best I can do out of my profit, but I don't want to live out of what I need to invest. So you need to know what you are spending. Are you spending your seed? Are you spending money that you are supposed to be investing, or are you spending your profit? You must live your life from your profit and invest your seed. That is very, very important. The other thing that we were, that never crossed our mind. I like what Brian Tracy said. He said, most people don't become successful, not because that they cannot become successful, but it have never occurred to them that they can be successful. So we have actually been taught that we don't deserve to succeed. We don't deserve to be rich. We don't deserve to have money. But I want to say that we all deserve to make it. And it's a free economy. If you serve enough people, if you focus, if you put your energy, the economy will give you the portion according to the energy that you have done. So you can become rich. You actually deserve to be rich. But the question is, are you prepared to work your mind, to work your energy, to work your knowledge, to work with the right people, to build the skills that you need so that you can serve? But otherwise, you deserve. Allow yourself, give yourself permission to be rich. And I want you to just say to yourself, I give myself permission to be rich. I give myself permission to have enough money for me and my family and to be generous to the human family. You must give yourself permission. And we had to do that because all this time we are so apologetic. We are so apologetic about having money. And when even people comment that you are dressed well, you say, no, this is from Mabero or something. No, it's not mine. I got it from my brother. Come on, get the compliment, say thank you and move on. Because you deserve to make it. And so I've seen people that act as if they do not deserve it at all. So the other thing that we were never taught, and which the rich are taught, is that money is abundant. They are taught that money is abundant. Opportunities to make money are abundant. Rather, when we went through school, we were actually taught that money is limited. And that's where you hear money does not grow on trees. Do you think I'm a bank? I'm sure you have heard your parents, your sister, or that's a poverty mindset. Whenever says do you think money grows? So they're telling you and they're impressing a scarcity mentality. Money is, in fact, I would say this, all the gold that has ever been mined is still on the earth today. It has never gone anywhere, it has never disappeared, it's still on the surface of the earth. So, what are we saying? There is more money today than ever before. So money is abundant. You must know this, and until you know it, you're not going to go for it because you think that it is in short supply. I want to say to you that money is not in short supply. It is not a scarce commodity. Rather, what is scarce are people with solutions. What is scarce is a solution-mindedness. We don't have solutions that people are willing to pay for so that we get money. But it's not money problems. So when you see somebody with money problems, it's not the money. They are devoid of ideas. They are devoid of opportunities. But otherwise, we must know that money is there. The other thing that we were never taught is something which I call your earning capacity. That everyone has got an earning capacity. For example, when you buy a pump, I use bore water at my house here, and so I've got a 0.75 horsepower pump. But when I went to buy it, I realized that there's a 2.5, there's a 0.5, there's a 7.5, there's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3. So that power is the capacity. It means the amount of water that can be pumped by that. And as of you also have got an earning capacity, the maximum amount of money that you can earn. Now, that maximum amount of money that you can earn is determined by the knowledge that is in your head. And a lot of people never develop themselves to the point that they increase their earning capacity. I still remember there was a guy who used to live next to where where I grew up in Braeside, and this guy was a shoemaker, and he used to sit in under a tree. When I was grade 7, he was sitting under a tree. When I was in Form 4, he was sitting under a tree. He was still making the same shoes and the same things, charging the same thing. He never increased his capacity. Now, this person could have actually gone to start a shop, a shoe factory, and 20 years later, he should have a shoe shop or even bigger. But he never did because he never increased his capacity. And that's the same. I want to talk to you, young woman, young man, that if you don't increase your earning capacity, you will live your life at the same level until you die. You will reach the age of 70, reach the age of 60 without increasing your income. So what do you need to do? You need to increase your earning capacity now. And how do you do that? You invest in yourself. You invest in management skills. You invest in leadership skills. You invest in ways where you can now have money work for you while you are not there. So you need to understand systems. You need to understand passive income. And how do you do that? You invest in your mind. That's how you increase your earning capacity. The other way to increase your earning capacity is to increase your streams of income. Most of the rich people, they've got a minimum of 7 streams of income. And a lot of people just have one. If that one stream goes bad, they are busted, they are done. How then can you increase your income? It's a mindset. We were never taught to think about increasing our streams of income. We are never taught to think about increasing our own capacity. We just wait and just cry and say, I'm not getting promoted. They are not increasing my money. Why should they increase your money if you have not increased what you know and what is in your head and the value that you can bring to the open economy? Now, there are other myths that we were told. We were told, as we grew up, that rich people are more intelligent than most people. But we realize that most of the people that are rich are just average people, and some of them are below average. In fact, studies were shown that the A students, especially in schools, are not the one that become the richest. It is the average students, the C students, the B students, even the D, because these are the students that knew that they have to work extra hard to make it, and they become richer because the A student will be looking for a good job. But if you're an A student and you decide to change the mindset, and also then work, you can actually become better than the C students. But what we see now, that a lot of A students are being employed by C students because of this. So rich people are not necessarily more intelligent, but they're just people who are more daring, who are more focused in getting what they need, in doing what they need to do to get where they need to get. And the other thing that it never was discussed as we were growing up is what I call financial literacy. Financial literacy. And the only time that we had money being spoken in by our parents or in our living rooms was the argument that money is not enough. That you go there and you say you want something, and you are told that we don't have money, and money does not go on trees. So we ended up growing up with an idea that money is scarce, that money is not there, and we associated money with negative feelings. So one of the things that you are going to have to do if you are going to deal with money and understanding money is that you've got a money emotion. And that money emotion has to do with how you were brought up, your exposure that you got. And you must change that money emotion to something negative, from a negative experience to a positive experience. When pure people never talk about money, and every time, and so no secret of money was laid. Budget was never mentioned. Investing was never mentioned. All these things that we are talking was never mentioned, because so most people, they reach adult age. Yes, they are literate, they can read. Yes, they can do mathematics, they can do geography, they can do geometry, they can do integration, they know about clouds, cumulonimbus, and all those things. They know about volcanoes, tectonic plates, and all those things. But guess what? You are never asked about that when you are at the workplace. You are now being asked about money. When you go into a shop, OK does not ask you the integration or what planet is where, how many solar systems there are. What they want is some money. Life is answered by money. And guess what? We are so illiterate. We do not know the thing that we need and that we use the most. After we have had all those 18 years, after I've had all those 18 years of education, I was never prepared to handle and to invest money. I had to go on a journey, and it took me so much time. It took me over 10 years. It took me over 10 years of rewiring my mind, rethinking and re-educating myself in the things that really matter, and money is one of them. I wish all those time I was dissecting frogs, I was dissecting all those things, wasting time. Yeah, I wish they taught me how money is made, how money is preserved. Because one thing is this: there are laws to make money, and there are laws to invest money, and there are laws to keep money. It's actually much easier to get money than to keep money. That's why you see a lot of people, they get money but they lose it. After 5 years, they lose it. Because what they used to earn it is not the same that you're going to use to preserve it. So you must continuously learn. At time you must learn how to make money. Then next time you must learn how to keep that money, because if you don't, you can earn it, but you cannot keep it. Remember, money is a currency and it needs to be kept, or else you will lose it. So we need to develop interest in money. You need to read money books. You need to watch this kind. I know a lot of people will be criticizing me. Why is he talking about money? Who does he think he is? Does he even have money? And all those things. Listen, you are focusing on the wrong thing. Focus on yourself and understand and get the financial literacy and learn about money, learn about the mindset of money, learn about the money personality, learn about how to think about money correctly, that will change your own life. So we need to have financial literacy as adults. If you are not taught, and you must continuously learn it. I continuously learn about money. There is no month that goes by without me learning how to invest money. And that's how I have grown, because I was never taught this at school. I was never taught this at school. And when you're talking about financial literacy, then we must talk about assets and liabilities. When I was growing up, I was told that a TV is an asset, a phone is an asset. But I then realized that an asset is something that adds money to you, and a liability is anything that takes away money from you. So most of us, we accumulate liabilities, things that diminish in value, things that are they important? Yes, but you don't use your sweat money or your sweat capital. You buy those things from your profit. You never use your sweat equity to buy liabilities. Liabilities are bought by your profit. That's the secret if you are going to manage money well. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to just thank you for watching up to now. If you've got comments, please comment and send us questions. But I think what is important is for you to understand that money is never taught in schools, will probably not be taught in schools. And a lot of people will reach adult age and they will not know how to handle money, how to manage money, and you have to go to a money school. You have to go to and if you're in Zimbabwe, come to Dr. S.M. Chirisa. Go through our Facebook page. There's so many material on selling, on advertising, on how to start a business, on money. This is not the only session that we have done. There's so much material. Go there, invest in your mind, become better in your thinking so that you can attract money and keep money. Thank you until we meet in the next segment. Good evening to those who are just joining us for our second part in this Understanding Money series. Now, in this second part, it's Dr. Chirisa, myself, and my lovely wife, Dorcas Chirisa. Welcome as we discuss how to manage money as a couple.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this segment where we are talking about managing money. And I believe is one of the very most important subjects as a household, as a person, as a family. It is something that we should do, and I'm sure Doku you agree with me that it is a very important subject that should be discussed. Today, I learned that. At the Magistrates Court, divorces, uncontested divorces, they sit over 200 cases every week, uncontested. And if it is contested, it goes to the High Court, and I'm not sure of the numbers. So I realized that we should be serious about our marriages, about our homes, about our families, about our businesses, because this is actually one of the things that can cause a marriage to go into crisis, into problems, into chaos, many things, many problems. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about a budget, setting up a budget, planning a budget, and my husband here will be commenting as we go. So creating a plan to spend your money. We plan about a lot of things, but we don't plan about how we are going to spend our money. We plan about getting a job, about finishing school, about doing a lot of things, but we don't then plan how to use the money that we have worked for or spending plan. So yeah, so a budget, it tells us or it tells you where your money goes before it comes. You know, that's the funny thing about a budget, that before the money comes, it's already finished, or before the money comes, you know where the money is going. And only 3% of adults budget their money. And yeah, it's something that is worrying. And 99% of rich people budget their money. So it is something that I believe we should do as a family. We should focus on, and we should be serious about budgeting our money. Doc, do you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that budgeting is very key,
Yeah.
and a lot of people struggle with that. But countries have got a budget, companies have got a budget. Who are you to think that you're going to do, you're going to run your family successfully and peacefully without a budget? So,
Yeah.
budgets are a critical component of
Very
a
true.
great marriage and of a good family. So, budget is a must. It's a must.
Yes. So how do you budget? How do you do it? You should actually dedicate time. You should allocate time where you sit down and list your expenses, list your income. I've said this before. With me, when we first got married, I didn't understand this. You know, I didn't get it. Like, why do we have to have a budget? If the money is not enough, then it's not enough. But with my husband being a financial person, he taught me these things, that, you know what, let's sit down. Let's dedicate time where we sit down and list our expenses and list our incomes so that we can come up with something. So if you're a family and you're listening, husband and wife, it is good for you guys to allocate time to sit down, dedicate some time where you list the things that you need in your home. Because if you don't do these things, that's when expectations, you know, you'll be like, she has expectations that I can't meet, he has expectations that I can't meet. It's because no one sat down. No one has sat down. He has allocated time, you know, to sit down, to budget, to think about how you are going to use your money. So your income, you can combine your income, list the combined income. I have my own income. Doc has his own income. So we sit down, we combine it. And then we list our expenses. And what I have seen, you know, I'm a pastor. So what I've seen, you know, in counseling couples, the husband will be saying she doesn't understand, or she has high expectations, or she demands money. It is because there is nothing written down. There is no money written down. There are no amounts written down. So listing your expenses, it's good for you guys to know expensive over what you are getting. So you see that the wife might be thinking maybe he is getting $10,000, yet he is getting $5,000. So one part might come with expectations, and the other part will think that he or she is unreasonable. So list your expenses, discuss your needs versus your wants, and discuss his or her needs. I have got my own needs that I have. He has his own needs that he has. So we as a couple, we put those things in our budget so that when it's month end or the money comes, there is no surprise to say, for my hairdo, I want so and so amount of money, or for his lunch, or for his boys he wants so and so amount of money. So we write down our things and we track our budget. So please, it is something that a couple, a household, even if you are a single parent, you need to do this. Even if you are an adult who is listening, you've got no family, you need to learn to practice these things so that when you've got a partner or when you are married, you've got someone, it is then easy for you guys to run a quiet life with no money issues. Doc, can you comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to, just emphasize, the discussion of needs and wants.
Yeah.
Needs are those things that are a must, that without it, that family cannot survive, cannot live. For example, if you are renting, then your rent is need. Because if you don't pay your rent, then you're going to be kicked out of your living place and your living space. So it's a need. But a second TV is a want. It's whether you have got it or not, your life can still go on. So you need to decide and discuss that these are our needs and these are our wants. And a lot of people, they get into problems because they first spend their money on wants and then they get into a crisis on their needs. So the budget must first cover the needs before you go to the wants.
Thank you so much, Doc, for that. Because we have actually seen people who go for holidays, and after the holidays is back to school and they don't have school fees. It's because people, they don't plan their money, they don't plan their spending income, they don't plan how they are going to spend their money. So it is good to think about that. So what are the budgeting tips that we are going to talk about today? There is what we call, me and Doc, the 50-30-10-10 rule of budget. 50% of on your list of your budget, it should be your needs. And we all know our needs, your food, your housing, and 30% should go towards your wants. And if you see a lot of people, especially in Africa, people spend much on their wants rather than on their needs. So that's why you see that there are people who look very rich, but if you go to some, they don't even have a home to stay. Some, if you go the keys, they don't even have food. So people, they misplace their priorities. So 30% should go to your wants. That is your traveling, your entertainment, your games, for your kids and all those things. So also on this one, it depends also with the level of income that you have. Because something that might be a necessity to someone, it might be different to you because of the level of income that you are getting. So look at the level of income that you are getting. List your needs, list your wants. And so that you don't overuse the money on something that is not necessary. So 50% on your needs, 30% on your wants, then 10% on your savings, investments. Let's save. So put it on your budget. It should not be a surprise to hear that he has been saving some money aside, or the wife has been taking money and putting it at their home and everything. So make sure that 10% you are saving it. Money is never enough. Even if you start to get times 4 of your salary, it is not going to be enough. So the day you get your money, your salary, your paycheck, put 10% aside for your savings or your investments, and then 10%, the other 10%, you leave it for giving and your generosity. So 50, 30, 10, 10. 50% needs, 30% wants, 10% savings, and 10% for giving. And the other tip that we do with my husband, I've also gone to South Africa with some people that are listening and they can testify. We have what we call an envelope system. Because with money, if you put for example, you are going for shopping, you are going for whatever you are doing, and you put the whole amount of money in a wallet or in your pocket or in your purse. At the end of the day, that's when you get home, you start to calculate your money, and then you'll be thinking, "Kuti aspana ndibira mari," and there's no one who would have stolen your money. It's because you were just pulling it, from one pocket. So what we have discovered with Doc, we call it an envelope system. So what we do, for example, I'll give an example of me going to South Africa to shop. I'll be having an envelope written Pastor D in the amount, Doc in the amount. The kids and our kids, each one of them, they'll be having their own envelope. So when I'm in a shop or when I'm buying for him, I just go to his envelope and I'll be checking how much is left, how much I've spent, and also we'll be having a list in that envelope so that when you come home, you don't come home with 5 shirts and there are no pants or trousers. It doesn't make sense. So we have an envelope system. So it's at times, maybe the day before I come home, there'll be an envelope that will be still full. And because I would not have used that one. So it is something that you should do. Please do that even on your payday. If you get cash, especially in Zimbabwe, people are getting their salaries in cash. Allocate the money and put them in envelopes so that you don't overspend. And if you look at people on their payday, they overspend. They start to get sober the following day. And by the following day, when you start to get sober, there is no money. And that's when you always say, "Maracha ikwane," the money is never enough. So have an envelope system where you allocate what you're going to do with the money, Doc.
Yeah, so the other way to, on the budgeting tip is, depending where you are in the world, is to, do that allocation automatically right at the point where
Yeah.
you're getting paid or where your money comes. These are normally called stop orders. So there are some payments that we do that we run on a stop order platform. So money is automatically deducted before it comes. So whatever then comes to me is the money that I can use, but all the other needs have already been deducted.
Yeah.
So the stop order is very key. But I've seen people doing stop orders to pay debts to microfinance. That's the only stop order that is there, or to pay for Edgar's or Trueworths. I've got no problems. I used to also have that. But have a stop order for your investment. Have a stop order for things that are critical. Have a stop order so that and for those who get money as cash, especially in Africa or in Zimbabwe, the envelope system is very handy because it really allocates. You know that how much is in there, the list is in
Yeah.
there. You will not get confused because pulling money from your pocket, you are
Doesn't
going
work.
to get into
Yeah.
trouble, definitely,
Very
for sure.
true. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Doc, for that one. The next thing that we'll talk about is insurance for any possible crisis. We are living in tough times. We are living in difficult times. We are living in times that are not certain, uncertain times. So we need to have a buffer, or we need to have something set aside. And in our setup, it's difficult to have money, saved in your home. Sekuru vanofa, someone who die in your family, someone who gets sick, they would want medical money for their medicals. So it is better, it is easier to have an insurance, to have money saved somewhere. For example, your medical insurance. If you are working, if you are a father, if you are a mother, you should definitely have a medical insurance. It is better for you to have the list of, for example, PISMAS or CIMAS or FML. It's better to have the list cover. At least you know if something happens to you or if you get sick, at least you'll be admitted. It's around a hospital or parenyatwa. And the iron of things, they are the same doctors. So at least have something so that if you have an accident, your child gets sick, they can be admitted whilst you are taking money from somewhere else to upgrade them. And the other thing that we should, or we should also do as our insurance is disability. A lot of people in Zimbabwe, they say we are in entrepreneurship, we are entrepreneurs, we are in business and all sorts of things. But a lot of people are self-employed. They are working for themselves. They are the ones that are working in the job. And imagine if something happens to you. you can't work, you can't go to work tomorrow, so have a disability assurance. It is also good. If anything happens to your leg, your arm, your whatever, and you can't work, you can then have something to cover you and your family. And also life assurance, it is also good. It is good. Find something. And I know our financial system in Zimbabwe. It is difficult, to do your life cover in Zimbabwe or anything. But I'm sure there are companies now that you can do in US dollars or something like that. But get companies in South Africa, get companies in the UK, and all sorts of things. There are agencies in Zimbabwe that you can go and see, that you can go and talk to, and at least have a life cover. If something happens to you, the kids will not suffer and your wife will not suffer. And I have seen it very close to home when Doc was ill, when he had COVID. We saw that, the life cover is needed and it is necessary. If anything would have happened to him, at least I would be sitting pretty, knowing that the kids will not go hungry. And also something that we should do is a funeral cover, a funeral insurance. It's cheap. How much is it at Nyaradzo? $10?
15 six-pack is probably $16 equivalent or something like that.
Yes, six-pack, $15, whatever equivalent. Get something, have something. At least people will then come and chip in and add up to what you have done. But you get a funeral insurance for your parents, for your mbuya, for the people that if they pass on, the burden will be on you. Get a funeral cover for that one. And obviously your car insurance, if something happens to your car, that's it. No insurance, at least have a cover. If you can't have 100% cover, at least get 50%,
Yeah, that's
30%. At least if it costed 20,000, if you cover for maybe 3,000, it's better. You can get into a fit rather than for you to start working. So it is something that you should do. And obviously a home insurance. People, they don't take this one seriously, but it is very important to have your home and obviously your income cover. People, they don't think about their tomorrow or anything. So all these things, they will then come into your budget to say, how much are we putting for our medical cover? How much are we putting for ABCD? How much are we putting for ABCD? It is very important, Doc.
So I think what is important is that, look, crises do happen.
Yeah.
And everybody has got a crisis moment. Everybody, no matter who you are, rich or small, young or poor, green, blue, black, yellow bone, black bone, you do have a crisis.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might have one crisis every year and maybe one major crisis every 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's in one of these fields. And what we have seen is that if you are not prepared for the crisis will become a financial pain. It will draw you back. It will take you years back if you are not prepared for it. But if you are prepared for it, it becomes easier. Life will be sweet. You'll be able to go through that. And that's what we are saying in money management, that
Yeah.
as a family, as you get older, as you've got more kids, these things must actually come. You may not do all of them at the same time, but some are a must, especially your medical cover, your life cover, and funeral cover. Those are a must. And as resources start to increase, you start to cover more things, your car, comprehensive insurance, income, even income. You can actually cover your income, especially if you're an independent practitioner, a doctor, a lawyer, or even that's how farmers, like this year, it was a bumper harvest. But how do we know that it's going to be a bumper harvest this coming rainy season or next season? But what people do is that they insure their crops. But how many of our black farmers insure their crop? So one bad season will wipe away all the gains that you had the previous year because you do not have insurance. So one of the money things that is key is have insurance for any possible crisis in your life. And with those few tips and thoughts this evening, we hope it was worth it. Thank you, Dee. Maybe last parting words before we close this evening.
Okay. My last parting words on budget. Please sit down, allocate time, especially to couples, because money problems, the problems will be money, but then they will breed other little problems. That's when you see people, they will actually go and say, want to divorce. And the divorce will be on people will be like, for that. But it's because there had been arguments, there had been contentions because of money. And we all know that money is a very difficult subject in homes, in families. So please have a budget. I always tell people that me and my husband, we don't get a lot of money, but we know how to use our money. And then knowing how to use your money is having a budget. Because if you don't have a budget, it's difficult to know where your money is going, how much you are getting, and how much you are investing. So we live in this home by a budget. We don't do things that are not in our budgets. I can come with my crazy idea or with my crazy thing that I want, and Doc will say, "D, put it for next month or put it for June because next month and blah 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 it's full." So sit down, couples, sit down, have something written down, and live according to what you can afford. Live according to your means. It will also avoid overspending and living copying other people, living above what you are getting. So if you've got something written down, it is very easy to follow on that, and you actually become a success just by having a budget. Thank you so much, and we hope to meet you in our next segment.
Definitely, we just want to thank
Yeah.
you for watching. And if you like the content that was in this, broadcast,
Yeah.
please like, share, and leave us your comments. Tell us where you're watching from. And if you want, you can follow us on Dr. SM Chirisa, and you can also watch us on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. And we are here for you. God bless you.
Amen.
And see you next time. In
Yes.
the next 2 weeks, we will be running a parenting session where we're going to look at how to parent. So get ready for that in the next 2 weeks. So if there's lockdown, we're going to do it online. But if there isn't any lockdown, we'll do it live at our premises, 55 Kwame Kuruma, right here in Harare.
Amen.
Thank you
Amen.
and good night.
Bye.